We have with us Mr. Sanjiv Puri. He is, of course, the President Designate CII CMD and, of course, at ITC as well. Mr. Puri, hi, good to be speaking with you. Good afternoon. First up, how would you rate the budget if I ask you to rate it from 1 to 10? Would it be as high at even 8 or 9? And what were your key takeaways and findings from the budget?
So good afternoon, and thank you for having me on your show. Vision and strategy, it continues on the path and the policies that have been articulated in the past. It's all about growth, competitiveness. It's about green growth. It's also about inclusive growth. So all in all, I would say a budget that ticks all the boxes.
Puri, I'd like your opinion on, one part of the economy which you understand very well, and that is the consumer part, both urban as well as the tier 2, tier 3, the rural part of the consumer, which, past few quarters, I would say, were a bit under pressure because of inflation issues. Now they are petering out. But how would you analyze the steps the government has taken to leave more money in the hands, also to ensure that more money is actually pumped via various schemes towards that section, and especially the rural side? One of your peers just yesterday gave a very good commentary about some early green shoots in rural side, and that is something, and a lot of consumer stocks are making big moves. But your reading of the consumption side and the steps taken?
So I think let me say that you rightly alluded to the challenge of the past, which was inflation, and I think the worst is behind us. Very clearly, I think the policy that this government has been following is one of strengthening the competitive capacity of the economy so that everybody can actualize its potential. I think that's the premise on which all the policies and all the directions in the prior budgets have been set. And we can see the benefits of that in a situation where the world is facing growth challenges. The world is growing at the lowest ever levels in for a long time, and at a couple of percent, India is growing at 7%. So that's really the proof of the pudding. So that strategy has worked, and I think this reflects a continuity. And the essence is like this, that as productive capacity is created, I think the quality of earnings will go up, and that will bring more money into the hands of people. If you look at rural, for example, in the past there has been focus on technology infusion into rural. There have been focus on FPO formation or cooperative formation as a tool for aggregation. And then this time there are specific thrusts in identified structure, which is a great strategy of focus. So be it the oil seeds, the dairy, the aqua sector, I think all the steps there are directed towards strengthening competitiveness, and as productivity quality improves, incomes will improve. The enhancement of public expenditure right now to a very large figure of 11 lakh crores, it was 10 lakh last year. I think that also, on one hand, strengthens competitiveness of the nation, reduces the cost of doing business. On the other hand, it's also creating employment and contributing to the virtuous cycle. If you look at the PM Awas Yojana and so many other initiatives that have been taken, create employment and in turn contribute to creating a virtuous cycle. So I think over a period of time, consumption is bound to pick up, because consumption does follow economic progress.
Absolutely, Mr. Puri, and yes, the Finance Minister did allude to the fact how the average real income is already up 50%, and you're talking about how the quality of earning is expected to improve further. But I wanted to touch upon the fact that Finance Minister talked about the foundation that is being laid for Amrit Kal and the vision that the government has of making India a developed economy, or Viksit Bharat, by 2047. And a lot of people are now talking about not just $5 trillion economy, but $7 trillion as well. What's your take in terms of how India is placed right now?
I think India is placed in a very good position on account of, I think, astute management of policies in India, the fiscal, the monetary, and the reform that's happened over a period of time, over several years, on account of the physical and digital infrastructure that's been created, amongst others. So what this has done is really unlocked a lot of potential that India has got. and that's why the economy is doing well. And because of the strengths of India, the demographic dividend, the scale India can offer, and also the global developments on the geopolitical dynamic, that kind of place India in a very good position. The whole world is looking at India as a base for manufacturing and services, not merely for the large growing domestic market, but also as an export hub. So I think India is well placed, and in this budget also we are seeing the foundation of Viksit Bharat, the foundation of a strong India, an India that is competitive, even getting even more strengthened with various measures that have been taken. And I'll just like to, just to exemplify, let me call out 2 points specifically. A lot of the next generation reforms are going to involve the state. And in fact, some of the reforms that have happened so far also need to be executed at the last mile. So there's been a very innovative idea to incentivize reforms at the states. I think that's an excellent idea. The second is that India does need to increase its share of R&D spends. India does need to develop its own IP, and it's in the strength of IP and technology, which are the human capacity is a positive for India. And we can develop IP and technologies for the future. So the R&D fund, I think, is a very progressive step. And let me end by also saying that despite the fact that investments are continuing in the economy, investments are getting strengthened in the economy, I think it's good to see that the fiscal glide path is not only being adhered to from a CII's estimate perspective. I think it's a little bit, in fact.
Excellent, Mr. Puri. Thank you so much for joining us with your take on the readings of the Union budget this time around. Thank you very much.